So, I know a lot of people are having trouble playing as the Hive in Olden Era, because Hive is the only faction in the game that does not get an early game ranged unit, which makes it challenging to kill neutral stacks without bleeding your army, which in turn kills a lot of your momentum. But what if I told you you don't need an early game ranged unit? Memes aside though, it is definitely true that not having a ranged unit does hurt you quite a bit in the early game, but I'm here to show you one of the strategies you can employ to get around this problem. And for the purpose of this demonstration, we'll be using Curson, Duke of Rage. He does more damage with Heroic Strike, and additionally, he reduces the target's initiative by 1 until the end of the battle, and this effect is stackable. We'll be playing on 125% setting for economy and enemy strength, which happens to be a pretty standard setting a lot of people use in multiplayer. However, for the purpose of this strategy, the economy setting doesn't really matter. So as the Hive, one of the most challenging parts of this strategy, or of really any strategy as the Hive, will be getting the first 2-3 level ups. We'll just have to endure a little bit of pain to get those. Now, the first thing you want to do is obviously grab your units, and you can upgrade your neglected housing, because then you can upgrade the Parasite from 3 speed to 5 speed. And these guys do have long reach. You don't have to do it, but it will make your life a little bit easier in the first few days, so we are gonna do that. And we'll grab the 5 speed variant. There's also a very handy keyboard shortcut you can use, because normally what you want to do is fill your remaining slots with 1 stacks, kind of like this. But instead of right-clicking your stack and then clicking this split 1 option, what you can do is hold Ctrl and Shift, and then click on a unit of your choice, and that will fill all remaining slots with 1 stack of that unit. Now, there's a ranged unit in here. We can obviously still kill it. It's gonna be a bit painful, because these guys in particular have parry. Let's kill this swordsman. And we can obviously do this manually, more optimally. Yeah, in this case, we definitely do want to do that manually. And you will likely be doing that quite a lot, by the way, as the Hive. Eventually, you won't have to. But early on, you will definitely be doing most fights manually. But hey, that's the fun part of this game. At least as far as I'm concerned. So let's just move in a bit closer. Now, this is just going to be an entirely standard fight, because we don't really have any tools at our disposal just yet. We'll just let these guys move closer. And then we can eat his counterattack, which is what we want to do. Because one of the benefits of the Hive is that the Locust is actually a very high damage unit, because he has double strike. He can attack twice when attacking, and it's already a unit with a relatively high attack value. It's basically a glass cannon of sorts, so the challenging thing here is to keep them alive. And yeah, that can definitely be tricky, keeping them alive. But if you can keep them alive, they will do a lot of damage. There is another strategy a bit later on, which I might use a separate video for. But in this video, we're focusing on Curson. And see, we pretty much just killed that guy. Now, if I move in to attack with my Parasite, I will do some decent damage. So we can do that. Then we can use Heroic Strike. But what I can do instead, as the Hive, this is one trick you'll want to do a lot as the Hive, which is using the Summon Swarm. You need good timing with this, because you do not actually have to wait a full round to hatch the eggs. They hatch at the start of each round, meaning that if I use them right now, if you have a unit that will go last in any particular round, and it will if it's the highest initiative unit on the field and use the wait option, then what you can do is summon the swarm at the end of that round when your unit has its turn, and it will hatch immediately. Just look at this. It will hatch immediately like this. Now we can hit him with Heroic Strike. Now he will have counterattack again, so I'm not just gonna attack there. In fact, I shouldn't have attacked with that last action, but it doesn't really matter. So this was not enough for a level up, but we got some experience. That's the important part. There is a learning stone here, so we'll obviously grab that. Now, you could take experience from a chest, which would definitely help you to execute the strategy I'm about to show you a little bit faster. But 99% of the time, you really need the gold from the chests in the early game, so I will still take the gold. Because that's what you will be doing with pretty much every other faction. So when we level up, the number one thing you want on this guy is expert combat as soon as possible. This hero not only makes heroic strike stronger, and also reduces initiative of target units, which ties into what I just showed you with the eggs, but also some other strategies in combat I'll show you as well. But more importantly, he starts with basic combat. You can obviously pick up combat on any hero you want if you are offered combat when you level up, but that's up to RNG. With this guy, you actually start with combat. And this is what we want. We take advanced combat right away. You might not always be offered advanced combat at level 2. If you get unlucky, you will not have the option of taking advanced combat, in which case you might need an extra level or so or two. But you would need to get very unlucky. You are pretty much guaranteed to get advanced and then expert combat within the first few levels. And then, once we get advanced combat, we want to pick up effortless strike. This makes heroic strike cost 1 fewer focus charges, which basically makes it free. This is the first component of the strategy we'll be using. Now, unfortunately, there are quite a few ranged units here, but we can deal with those. And if you really think about what the purpose of a ranged stack is, which is what the Hive is lacking, the purpose of the ranged stack is to do damage from a safe distance without taking damage in return. And attacking with ranged units is the simplest way to achieve that. But it's not the only way to achieve that. Okay, now, in order for this strategy to really pop off, we need expert combat as soon as possible. I could engage the skeleton stack right now, but I will have a much easier time if I can get expert combat first, which, to be fair, we might not be getting. So let's attack them. This will give us level 3. I will still do this manually, because you do want to preserve your locusts as much as possible. This is going to be your highest DPS unit early on, so you need to keep them alive. You want to keep them alive. Now that we have heroic strike that is free, we can use it every single turn without expending any focus, and then we can use focus entirely on Summon Swarm. And normally, when you're not hitting anything, and they're not hitting you, you will not have focus to begin with, because in order to gain focus, you need to either be doing damage, or taking damage, or you need to use spells like Energize, which have a cooldown and all that. So the benefit of effortless strike is that now you can do guaranteed damage from a safe distance without any risk to yourself for free. And if you think about it, that's pretty much the purpose of a ranged stack. This is pretty much a rough substitute of a ranged stack. Now, it will get better than this once we get expert combat, as you'll see. So we still want to go through this without actually dying, hopefully. Now, I do have a haste, but I don't think I'm really going to need that. Let's just make sure we're out of range here. And this is where having higher speed on the parasite helps, by the way. Because with free speed, you often cannot stay out of range of these units and then move in to attack them with long reach. So this is where speed comes in. So that upgraded parasite version can help you quite a bit with the early fights. So yeah, we'll let this guy move. Now, there's no point eating his counter attack right now because this is the last move of this round. I'm not in range to begin with for that, but it would have been pointless because it's about to refresh. So now we'll hit him with Heroic Strike again. I will pass with the Hornet right here. We'll hit him with our Parasite, like so. Now, I could hit him with the Locust right now, and this would kill at least 18 of them. 24 if we get luckier. If we get unlucky, he'll probably kill 1 or 2 Locusts. But if I wait, he will go first. So we will still hit him here. Now, one thing you could also do to make your life a bit easier is get a Mage Guild. To maybe get a Lightning Bolt and stuff like that. But I'm specifically playing without that to not have to rely on any of that. So now we can use the egg. And then we can just keep spamming him with Heroic Strike. Anyway, we only lost 1 Locust in here. So that's what we wanted to do. And here's Expert Combat. And this is where this strategy will really start to kick in, as you'll see. Because with expert combat, we can pick up Confusing Strike, which will reduce the target's counterattacks by 1. This is the key part of this strategy, and we will combine this with both the Locusts, but also with the Hornets. Now, you could achieve something that's roughly similar by using one of the spells that you can get from the Mage Guild, which is the Weakening Ray that removes counterattack. However, that's a tier 2 spell. You need to actually get a tier 2 Mage Guild, and then if you don't get that spell, you need to pay more resources to unlock it. Then the spell itself has a cooldown, so it's not really nearly on the same level as being able to remove one counterattack every single turn for free, on top of also reducing their initiative. So now we'll fight this other stack, and let me show you how exactly this is going to play out, because there are a few very important components in here. And the fact that this guy can reduce initiative is actually very important, because what we want to achieve is for our Hornet to be the highest initiative unit on the field, which it usually will be, with 11 initiative, but if you're fighting some neutrals that have like 12 or 11, you can reduce their initiative, with Heroic Strike. And we'll start hitting him right away, and this debuff lasts until the end of combat and it stacks. It will never expire. So it's a very, very powerful debuff. Initiative in this game is extremely powerful. It's one of the most important stats in combat. We let them move. So now what we can do, because I hit this guy with Heroic Strike and I removed his counterattack, and our Hornet is the highest initiative unit on the field. If you wait with the highest initiative unit, what will happen is that it will get the last move of the round, and then it will get the first move of the following round. So it will move twice in a row, which is the really important part here, combined with the high mobility of this unit. So that means we are still on turn 1, which means this guy still cannot counterattack. I can attack him with my Hornet, and then I can move out of his range so that he cannot attack me back. Because if I attacked him again right now, he would counterattack me. Obviously, I can just use Heroic Strike right now. But what you can do instead is then move out and use Heroic Strike on a different target, for example. Either way, this is one of the safe ways to do damage as the Hive early on. Take advantage of the fact that the Hornet is the highest initiative and highest speed unit that you have. And it will usually be the highest initiative unit in most neutral enemy fights. So we don't have to use Heroic yet, we can just let them move first. But I can use it on him and then attack him with the Hornet. Remember, the Hornet attacks twice, or the Locust rather, which means that we will kill at least 36 units with this attack, because the preview shows you the effect of a single attack. Now, I do have to use Heroic Strike on this guy again, because this is round 2, and his counterattack refreshed. But now, we reduce his initiative by 2. Not that this was incredibly relevant in this case, but it does stack, like I said. So now we attack him, like so. Now, he will go soon after, so I actually don't have to attack him, because if I attack him, we will kill at least 36. But if I kill 36, he will still have 11 left. So if I want to play it really, really safe, I can just chill and do nothing, because they can't reach me anyway, so I don't actually have to do anything. I can let them move, and then I can do the same exact thing that I did with my Hornet. Again, I'm still gonna move out of range here, still gonna move out of range, and still gonna move out of range. Well, we can attack this guy, because he will definitely be dead, like on the second turn. That's kind of the point. Now we can attack him with the Locust. This other skeleton warrior will be out of range, and you will have to look at these ranges a lot. It will matter a lot. But I think you see where I'm going with this strategy. And yeah, he's basically already dead. Now we can also spawn the egg right here, like so, and then just kill this guy. Yeah, you can see where I'm going with this strategy. That is basically the strategy. This is what you can do as the Hive to kill a lot of the neutrals with barely any losses or often no losses. You will still have some trouble with ranged stacks, but that really goes for any faction. A lot of factions will have trouble with strong ranged stacks. However, you can kind of deal with that as well. If you utilize the Hornet, you can split the Hornet into 1 stacks, and with their initiative and their movement, you can reach the enemy pretty quickly, especially if we pick up something like tactics. Yeah, so now we can just hit him again, move in with the Hornet, attack him, and just kill him now. Yeah, there. So that's the fight. We get our experience, we get the gold, and that's pretty much the gist of it. Now, I could also kill these ranged guys. We will lose a few units when doing this, because that's kind of inevitable, but we can still do that. Let's spell it this Hornet. So we could do this. It's not really gonna be necessary. Here, we can do this. Now, they're fleeing, so if a range stack is fleeing, I would just let them flee. You will miss out on a little bit of experience, but this does allow you to preserve your entire army without bleeding it. So let's wait for the next turn here. This other guy might also run. Yeah, so I'm gonna let them run. You don't have to, but we're gonna let them run. Okay, we got ourselves an artifact. Yeah, so now we can level up Summon Swarm, because that will also help quite a bit. And at Expert Summon Swarm, one of the things you can do is pick up Hardened Shells. The AI will generally attack the eggs quite reliably, so you can use eggs as bait, and with Hardened Shells, they can withstand another hit. Now, Hive Power is also very nice. You can gain luck and morale, but that's subject to RNG, while Hardened Shells are not subject to RNG at all. Yeah, for this one you can take either Die Children or Ravage. One of the things you can do with the larva is blow them up, and they do significant damage when they do that, so having more of them helps with that. Right, here's another learning stone. Now we can pick up Expert Summon Swarm and take Hardened Shells. You can take Hive Power, which is very good. It does give you more luck and morale, but luck and morale are both subject to RNG, and Hardened Shells are not. With that said, Hive Power is still very good, but I do like Hardened Shells because it's a non-RNG upgrade. Your egg will always absorb 2 hits. Here's a slightly bigger stack of enemies, so we can attack those to do at least one more fight here. So we will obviously be doing this manually. You will be doing a lot of these early fights manually as the Hive, but with most other factions you will be doing them manually anyway. It's just that with the Hive, you will probably on average be doing more manual fights than you would otherwise. But hey, that's the fun part of the game. So these are some pretty big stacks right there for this stage, but we can deal with them. Yeah, we can strike him again. Then wait with everyone. Just let them move a bit closer. And then we still want to stay outside of their range, because we have no reason to go into their range right now. The Parasite can move twice, so what we can do is go here, attack like this, and then attack with the Hornet. One of the benefits of the Parasite is that it has long reach, so it doesn't have to worry about counterattacks. This is the reason why upgrading them to a 5-speed variant very quickly can be very helpful, and also 7 initiative, because 7 initiative is often just enough to get 2 turns in a row when you wait, especially when you can reduce enemies' initiative with Heroic Strike. So, like, it all ties together. Then we attack this guy, then we move out of range with the Hornet, and with the Parasite as well, like so, and they will not be in range of anything. Well, this guy will be in range of my Locust, but he's gonna be dead, so that doesn't really matter. So now we can just kill him with Heroic Strike, like so, and we will stay in the corner right here, just let them do their thing, like so. You will definitely be doing quite a lot of kiting if you want to just completely avoid losses in fights like this, but well, that's how you get around the lack of ranged unit as the Hive. This is not the only strategy. There are some other strategies that also work pretty well. Yeah, so we don't want to attack them right now because they will retaliate. I could attack this guy, but he would retaliate and kill a few of my Locusts. So I'm just gonna move out of range instead, and then we can move again. I'm being excessively careful in case of this fight, but it's partially because I'm also talking a lot at the same time, which does make it a little bit trickier. Yeah, so just blast that guy. Yeah, so this guy cannot counter, then again, he can't counter my Parasite anyway. Just hit this one, then we can do this. We can spawn an egg, but we don't really need one. We can just finish the job. And no losses. There you go. And the higher level you get, well, the more damage you'll do with Heroic Strike. Because that's kind of the point of this guy. And the combat in general, the combat skill that is a very, very strong skill. Here we can take luck to maybe get some lucky strikes. Okay, here's a slightly more difficult stack. So let's actually attack this. And okay, auto-resolve actually performed pretty well right here. But we should be able to do this without any problem whatsoever with the 0 losses. Yeah, we should not have any losses here at all. Oh yeah, absolutely not. Now, these guys do actually have a long reach, which means that if you want to avoid taking damage from an enemy with a long reach, you need to pay attention to range, because obviously if I stand, let's say, over here, they will still be able to attack me. And these guys are actually pretty fast as well. So it's a little bit more tricky to completely avoid taking any damage. I might have to actually sacrifice one Locust, and I can sacrifice one Locust to slow them down. That's definitely an option. I can also attack with my Locust right here, and then move in the opposite direction. So we're gonna do that. Yeah, kind of like this. And then we can hit this guy. It's a pretty small stack, so it doesn't really matter all that much. And then I could just kill him, actually. Like that. Then I get my Heroic Strike again. So I can hit this guy. Just back up. And he will technically be in range of my Locust here. But there's only 2 of them. So it hardly... Oh, no, he will not be, because my Locust will go first. So he will not be in range of anything whatsoever. We can just wait. Well, just this guy. But as 2 stack cannot even kill a single Locust right here. We can pop the egg. We can still hit him like that, because we already absorbed his counterattack with Heroic Strike. And then we just wait for the next turn. Heroic Strike again. And, well, that's basically it. Not a single unit dead. Yeah, not a single unit dead. And this fight was marked as difficult. Yeah, obviously we're not doing this one. Yeah, we're not doing that one. But yeah, so from here, this is basically what you do until you can get your upgraded tier 6 worms, the Pyroboros. Now, the other variant of the worm is also pretty good, because it has this Devour ability. But the Pyroboros is just an incredibly good ranged unit, because not only it has area attack, you can target a ground tile and hit everything around it, and your damage does not go down with that. You don't do like less damage with AoE attacks. He has AoE attacks by default, and he does full damage with them. But yeah, so the next thing you can do is upgrade your Locust to either the Harvester Locust or Overgrown Locust. And the Overgrown Locust is actually very good because it has parry, which means that when attacked, it will always counterattack first. You can take advantage of this by getting the enemy, the neutral enemy stack, to basically kill itself on your Locust when attacking the Locust. Otherwise, you can also use the Harvester Locust, which has this special ability here that's very, very good, that allows you to jump onto a chosen corpse with any 6 hexes, devour it, gain attack, defense, speed, and initiative, and this does not end your turn. Which means that you gain a tremendous amount of mobility with this, as long as you have a viable corpse target for this, and you get more stats. So this not only gives you stats, but more importantly, this also gives you more flexibility with mobility. Now, the base variant of the Locust also has this, but the Overgrown one with parry does not. So you have to choose between picking up parry or keeping the Harvest skill when you're upgrading the Locust. And both are good, both have good arguments going for them. Anyhow, that's going to be the end of this video, so I hope you find it helpful, leave a like if you did, and subscribe for more Olden Era content. I'll see you next time.